to, we'll be asking people to share their goals, but know that it is recorded. It will be public. So, you can massage your answers and questions. And if it is something that cannot be shared, do not share. In the sense of like proprietary things. I just want to put it out there. So, but please share so that everybody can learn about, let's say, how you're thinking about your goals. So just letting you know that it's not just me going to be yakking. It's going to be a very interactive session of getting some structure on your goals, and then having some great feedback from everybody and learning from each other. So wanted to give you that ethos of what we're going to go through today. So this is the goal setting for thriving in 2024. Very excited to be here. And this is me. I'm a Brink advisor, but the reason why I love this goal setting session is I've done it for a couple of the business accelerators that I've helped launch. So Stella is one of them, the basement at UCSD, of course, at Astra Ventures is another accelerator that I launched, and then the bio student startup incubator. So I'm an entrepreneur and an investor, and I've just been doing this for a very long time. So love doing this so that we can really be focused on using your strengths of yourself and your team to be able to get the goals done for the year. So just wanted to give you some inspiration to start off is from Oprah Winfrey, because I love her. Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe. So of course, belief, endless abundance and highness, and thinking about a grand vision. It's hard when you're thinking, okay, tactically, how do I do that as an entrepreneur? I know how to do it in my life, but as an entrepreneur, it's hard. The grind is hard. The hustle's real. All of those things. Yes, I agree. All of those things take a toll onto entrepreneurs. But you need to believe that you can be where you want to be at the end of this year. And we're looking at December 2024 of where you need to be at the end of this year. So with that, I wanted to ask everybody in the chat, just chat up, what do you want to take away from this session so that I can tailor as we're going through. I'm not going to repeat anything because we do have a good big group here. Put it in the chat saying, what do you want to take away from this session today, so that at the end you can say, yes, I got it done, or no, I didn't. I need to meet with an advisor to get certain things clear about the goals that I want to accomplish. So very tactical pieces. And as you're typing in, I'm going to go ahead and continue the session, and I'm going to go back to those and make sure that we accomplish that. So the agenda for today is first is State of the Union, is where are you at right now, and how do you feel? We're going to do a 5-year goal, because that allows us to set that vision of very far away. And then a 1-year goal for December 2024 that's overarching, right? Not all in the weeds and not myopic. Then we're going to go into 10 SMART goals for the next 12 months, and that becomes more myopic, but really great. We'll be able to have a structure there. And then we're going to do a calendar of your goals for the year, and a week at a glance in 2 hours. So we're going to get this stuff done. And I'm open to questions and all of that, but there are certain times that we're going to have these things being worked on, and then I'll put on some music, and then you can get it done in real time. So State of the Union, this is the first thing that we're going to start off with. And as we're going through this right now, just reminding the chat, if you can say what you want to accomplish by the end of the session today, that would be fantastic. So the State of the Union is really in, you can do it in a couple different ways, and you'll have hopefully some of you have paper, but you're just going to take out a paper and write down what I love to do, what I should be doing, what I hate to do, and what I should not be doing. So you can write it down on a piece of paper like this into like 4 squares if you want. You can do something like, that's why I always do everything you can just have a piece of paper in like a square like this, or you can write it down as bullets, as a list. I'm not a list person, I'm more of a visual person. So understand how you interact and how you learn is how you're going to write this down. So I will be quiet for a little bit. I'll keep this up so you know what to kind of go through. And we will do, I always say it's one song long of do you be able to get this done? That's what I wanted. Okay, let's see if we can have a couple of you share of what I love to do. You can just go off mute and share.
I love working with clients.
Mm-hmm. So that interaction is what you like.
Yes, very much so. And watching improvement.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So really tied to their success is your success and what like makes you thrive and feel good about what you do. That is
Yep.
so, yeah, so good. Anybody else want to share about what I love to do? One more person?
Sure. So Sylvia, I love coaching and teaching. I'd really enjoy this connection with my clients and the teams and groups.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And owning that and feeling like, how do I do more of that? Is definitely so important to do. That's awesome. I'm glad that it doesn't drain you. Some people are like, I don't like teaching, but I like selling, right? It's like, oh, interesting. How do we grow a team that can teach for you and you do the selling? And for you, it's like, I love to teach. So let's bring some other people in for to support on maybe the sales side. I'm just kind of giving you those bumpers. So next is what I should be doing.
So I put just getting more organized and making more contacts to just kind of make some calls to get things moving.
Yeah, so kind of getting out there and getting that either, I know that you're fundraising too, so contacts of like sales, contacts with investors, and then kind of organizing your thing. That is what you should be doing. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Another person would like to share on that one?
Yeah, build,
Go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead.
continue networking.
Okay. What I should be doing is continue networking for those, probably that goal of fundraising and connecting and partnerships and stuff like that. Perfect. So let's have two people share about what I hate to do.
Yeah. What I hate to do is that to say that I'm going to do something, and then when I set out to do it, it just doesn't turn out right. It's like it turns into more than what I anticipated, like 3 days worth of work, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me.
That's that. Thank you for sharing. That's that. I think everybody kind of feels the same way. It's like, oh, I want to do this. And then it's turns into a 3, 4, 5 day process and stuff like that. So, but what I want to applaud you at is saying, I'm going to do something new and I don't know how long it's going to take me. So that's actually a really good piece of what you just shared. So, but the hate to do is that longer term, that you don't know, the unknown, let's say, of the time it takes. Thanks for sharing. One more person. Hate what you hate to do.
Admin.
For sure. Admin, like what? So people can feel more your pain.
Oh, the, accounts and the tracking and the invoicing and those things that are not client facing.
Yes. I love that. And it's also, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs that I advise are like, they don't mind maybe sending the invoice because they're like, okay, I'm going to get paid, but all the things that are not, let's say, revenue generating, right? It's like, I will send the invoice because that's revenue generating, but it's really hard to do the things that, it must be done. Like, I love that you said tracking. It's like, how do I track efficiently and effectively? Because long term, I need that data to be able to make better decisions for my company, but I hate to do it right now. So how do we motivate you to get that done or set incentives? Some people love, like, I'm going to do all these things because I'm going to do a spa day. I don't know what it is, right? All of those things. I know we have a couple coaches here, so you can help me as well with my examples. But yes, love that you added that in. And we'll talk a little bit about when we're doing the goal setting is how do we kind of combat that and how do we elevate that to something that might be as a chore, but you're okay doing it, or we have support. One more person who wants to share about what I hate to do. Let's just move on then. What I should not be doing.
I can share, Sylvia.
Yes.
I shouldn't be engaging in so many classes. Like I'm a learning addict. So then I join every single class that is out there. Love it.
No, I love that. That's a lot of women entrepreneurs have that. It's like, it goes from like, well, we all want to be learners. Let's say your strength, if you've done strength finders, I'm a learner. I want to learn all the time, right? So I'm I go after all the classes, right? But then also the other part is that imposter syndrome, right? It's like, oh, I don't know enough, right? So I think that one thing that I've seen with my clients is that, let's identify where you are, right? If it's truly like a strength that you need to learn these things because that brings you joy and that is a strength of yours and you're asked for it, okay, then do that. For me and others, it's more of like I need to set a timer to say I'm only doing an hour a day or an hour a week, right? Because I need to get all the things that I should be doing, right? Doing that. But if it's true, let's say if it's an imposter syndrome piece of it is like, okay, let's break down what are the things that you really want to learn and need to learn, as opposed to like, hey, I don't have the chops, which you do have the chops. Like you do have that like guru-ness or that expertise that you don't need all these things. So that's something that is kind of interesting to walk people through. So thanks for sharing. So let's move on to the next thing is that the next is the 5-year vision. And I'm going to share with you really quickly. I'm going to stop share and share with you this. It's a document that is I'm pretty sure that I had here. It is. Yeah. Mhm. Here's a link of the workshop PDF for everybody. You can just take that and download it. Just whoever clicks on it first and it works, can you just give me a thumbs up? So I have it in an outside folder. That should be that you can download it, no problem. Yes. Okay, thank you, Nataraj. You're the best. Telling me that it worked. Okay, so
it worked.
that's thank you, Dana, so much. So that's a PDF that you can use that we're going to walk through the 5-year, 1-year goals so that it's really easy. It's something that we've developed over the years to walk you through this. So you'll see that let me just share my screen one more time. Here we go. So this is the workshop, right? This strategic goal setting piece of it right here. We'll go through the SMART goals in a little bit. But that piece of paper right here, it's a 5-year goal is that high, like the first half of that page number 3. And if you can't download this and like use it a PDF and then type it in, again, I always do this so that you can just take a white piece of paper and do the same thing, right? It's very easy to be able to do it on a simple, plain white piece of paper. So I will stop sharing here and then start sharing my the other. Here we go. On this presentation of the 5-year vision. So the 5-year vision or 5-year goal, you can, have that statement of, I want to be at, I want to be a business that does this. There's 3 kind of forms that have helped some entrepreneurs is that my clients have the following things to say about me and my business in 5 years. That's more for service-based businesses, but you could also for product bases, my customers have the following things to say about my product or about my suite of products or about my company that makes them, buy our products all the time. So that could be how you can augment it. And then for more of like the service-based people or speakers or something that I'm known for blank. And for companies out there that are more startups and really are doing the fundraising and they want to sell, my company is worth this much. Should I decide to sell it or get acquired? Right. So this could help you set that 5-year vision. I'll be quiet so that you can focus on this. And I want you to write out your 5-year vision and we'll be sharing your visions in about 2 minutes. Okay, let's hear from a couple of you about your 5-year vision.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tantaraj, go ahead.
I would like to see Ligron Bio as a top position #1 in the area of targeted protein degradation and partnership by the major companies for cancer development with respect to molecular glues.
Very good. I think that that's like a great vision. It can't be done in a year, right? I mean, you're awesome, right? You might be able to get it done in a year, but that really 5-year vision is like, I want to be the first, the #1 person, company that people look to and all that. So just giving you kind of like a thought process is like, okay, if I want that, then I need to actually work on now that partnership of that top level partnership, even though right now it seems like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get X, right? The toppest person, the toppest company. But you can put that goal in this first year saying, I need to start that partnership, or I need to start that relationship, or I actually need to have some sort of PR piece to my company so that they will recognize me as the top blah blah blah, right? So if it wasn't the top, if you're saying I just need to be acquired by X, then it's not necessarily a like PR marketing play. It's and like thought leadership play. It's more of a technical play. I need to get to that acquirer. So you see how that vision is just slightly like off, in the sense, both not off in a bad way. It's like just two different visions, but setting that goal now will allow you to like get to that goal easier and faster. So thank you. That was a great example.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
and for everybody to know, I usually, whenever I give feedback on a particular example, I know that everybody's listening. So it's kind of like, okay, everybody can apply that same strategy to their goals and their vision as they're going through this process. And then we'll get one more person to share their 5-year vision.
I'll share. I put, I would like to be one of the top networking apps in 5 years, or within that 5 years, be able to license our product and then possibly get acquired so I can continue to move on to bigger and better things, and then also possibly become an investor.
Awesome. I love that. That's great. That's a lot of entrepreneurs have that vision of like, when I make it, I will become an investor, because you feel it and you know you want to invest in the industry that you created. One thing I heard from you too is that you want to go on to the next piece of it. I know some of the entrepreneurs that know that they want to be serial entrepreneurs. Like, this is just part of, let's say you want to create a couple of companies. They have a like a, what's it called? I'm drawing a blank, but instead of just marketing their company, they're doing personal branding, right? So you are going through a journey, you're talking about your journey, you're getting on podcasts, you're talking about your personal journey so that you can be the thought leader of, hey, I'm growing my company, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it again. So that when you are doing it again, not just that you got acquired, of course, that's a huge check, right? Huge check and huge gold star on the top of your head, but also that you've created a really amazing journey that people can follow and have a history. The person who does that very well is Tot Squad. So she's one of my portfolio companies, and I'm going to blank on her name right now, but Tot Squad, she created that piece of her personal journey so that when she creates her next company, she really is in a really great position to go forwards. So just kind of giving you that again, 5-year goal. What can I do now to get me closer to that? Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can attain that. You can attain it by doing these little steps to get you there. So thanks for sharing, Jessica.
Thank you.
Perfect. So now we're going to move on to the 1-year goal. That is just the overarching. But before we get there, that's the second half of that page, is I want to go through what SMART is. All of you guys have heard it. I understand. I just want to go through it and give you a little bit of examples now that I know who's in the room a little bit of what specific all of this means. So specific is, I usually ask those 6 W questions. What do I want to accomplish? Where? what specific pieces do I need to go into? Why is it important? Is there a purpose behind it? Be very, very specific as to that goal that you want to accomplish. Like, not just, I need to thrive in 2024, even though that's a title of this workshop. It's more of, I need to be specific. I need to be at a place that I am able to leave my job, right? And that means, you don't have to write it out like for everybody to hear it, but let's say that means $200,000 a year that I make for myself or something like that. That's very specific. And you can obtain it by saying, that is a goal that I need to obtain, not just I need to thrive. How do you measure that? What specific piece of it? But you could say, hey, by the end of the year, I need to be able to be more joyful in the position of a founder, right? You can say something like that. It's like, well, what does joy mean to you? Oh, joy means nature walks. It means this. It means like whatever that is to you to find joy. You can have that as a goal and say, okay, every month I'm going to bring joy into my life very specifically. So by the end, I do feel more joyful because of these things that I specifically need to bring into my life or amplify in my life. So I just want to make sure that there's two pieces to that. Secondly is measurable. Any kind of number, use a number, right? It's like, I want to get to, if you're like a B2B company, you say, I need to get to 5 customers, because those 5 customers maybe bring in $500,000 contract, right? So you only need 5 to be able to reach like your 2-year mark. So be as measurable as possible, because then you can break it down on a month-to-month basis, saying, I need to have these many in my funnel. I need to convert them at this rate, so that you know every single month, where am I at to get to that 5, which seems unattainable right now, but it can be obtained if you have that measured. You can really chunk it out. Attainable and realistic, because some people have like problems with both of them. So I just put them all together, both of them together. Attainable is how am I going to get it all done, right? Is it attainable, the goal, because of my my situation, right? And establish a time frame. Does it describe a result? I need to attain this these numbers and types of clients, because I want to have a company that makes enough money for me to leave my job, right? It's kind of the same thing. With that first example. And realistic is it relevant to the development of my business? So let's say I need a realistic thing is, let's say you are an author, right? And you have a book. You're saying the realistic thing is that I want to be able to sell 1,000 books, right, in a year. Is that realistic to the development of your business? Yes, it is selling books. But let's say you're saying, I need to sell or like be on stage 5 times during the year. Is that truly like, let's say 1,000 books? Well, then be more specific, as every single time I speak, I need to have some kind of book activation, right? I need to be back of sales or back of room sales, or that something has to be that. So then you are being realistic to, I want to achieve this goal. I need to align all the things that I'm doing towards that goal. And the realistic also piece I want to just leave everybody with is, everybody is hustling. It's unfortunately hustle culture. I don't like hustle culture, but I'm a hustler, right? So that realistic piece of how much time do you realistically have? I worked with another entrepreneur over the years that she only had every other weekend to work on her her startup, because she had a full-time job, because she had 3 kids, right? But every single other weekend, the kids went to her ex-husband. Awesome. Like, know what you are going to do every other Saturday, and you're going to have all your goals built out, and you're going to be realistic with, I only have that one Saturday, and it better work, right? In a sense of making sure that's all done. So you're not saying, oh, I'm going to do all these things because I have all the time in the world, and then it diminishes your like awesomeness, right? You're saying, hey, realistically, I can get this stuff done and I can hit those metrics, and you're going to be just much better off by the end of the year. Timely is the last one, is when are you going to achieve the goal? You have to have a target date. It's in 6 months, it's in 4 months, or timely is every month I must do this to get to this goal by the end of the year. anything that allows you to have some kind of time associated with it. Now, sometimes whenever people do these goal setting exercises, it's like by the end of the year, by the end of the year, by the end of the year. I understand that, but the more that you can say in 6 months, I can do this goal to get me to the next step, anything like that would be fantastic. So hopefully that helps everybody get that done. So that 1 year goal is the second half. And the new person who came into the room, I will put in the workbook that I shared. Just give me 1 second. So the second half of that page 3 is that 1 year goal. Things to remember is that overarching goal to reach by December of this year. So we will go into 10 goals for the year. So don't be too myopic. We want to say, like, what do you want to accomplish by December? I want you to think about thriving, not only surviving, right? So the way to do that is to build a goal that has that timely, realistic, all of that, so that you're saying, I need to get to this revenue by end of year, right? Or is it really that you need to increase that number because that's the thriving number? So the more that you can put these pieces together, you can actually tweak to go from surviving to thriving, right? And lastly is easy to measure. So you can just adjust when unknown success or challenges happen. So if you do it so that you can measure it, you can say, oh, the success was I sold twice as many books this month. Whoa, how did that happen? Oh, that happened because I had a speaking gig. Oh, okay, then I need to do a speaking gig more often. Or that increase was because I paid for an ad on Amazon. Whatever that is, you're like, okay, that's a success that I had. Now I can actually adjust not the complete goal, right? But adjust the expectation of the number. And a challenge would be like, look, I was overwhelmed. I had too much on my plate. I didn't set any priorities, and the challenge was it was too much in 1 month. Okay, then let's like now take those goals and say, okay, between Q2 and Q3, I'm going to get this thing done because it's not needed to be done here. Right now, January, February, March, right? Q1, it can be pushed out. So that's how you can adjust if you have goals set up correctly. So anyways, let's look at that 1 year goal, look at it as an overarching goal for until December, write it in, and then we'll go into the top 10 goals. Okay. So I'm going to give you another 2-3 minutes to get that done with some music. Okay. Do you guys need more time, or you guys are good with that 1 year vision? I think we're good. Why don't we have like 2 people share their 1 year goal?
Yeah, for myself, a minimum of 4 million fund need to be bring for Ligron Bio for further drug development
So 4 million by December.
by December. Yeah.
Okay, and then and that, does that include also the development? I know that's like overarching, so that kind
Yeah.
of in your brain, that's more of dev needs to be done. If I get 4 million in, I can actually get the dev part, partnerships done, and then of course funding done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I just want to make sure that that's kind of what that's great. Awesome
Yeah.
job, Nataraj. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would like to go another example.
Hey, I'm happy to talk for a change.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
Karen.
Karen, go ahead.
So revenue 2.12 million, and we want measurable 1.16 million new downloads and 23,000 weekly active shoppers, and 70,000 MRR by the end of the year.
Awesome. I love that. That's very specific. I love that. You're always about measuring things. I want to just go up one with you, and maybe other people also, is to also think about it as is that more like, of course it's like more stickiness, right? And more engagement. So I heard engagement, I heard stickiness, I heard like definitely revenue coming through. So I think that that's something to just allow yourself to have that, like a little bit of that vision to get you to that the 5-year goal. I know you want to sell, right?
Yeah,
So
right,
is
right.
that going to get you closer? And the answer probably is yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So just and
Yeah.
what makes
Okay.
you get up in the morning, right? To
Yeah.
get that thing done.
Yeah. I think part of it also, the goal is that making us part of the broader industry conversation, that there's chatter everywhere about us.
Yeah.
With users, brands, investors, everything, and stronger relationship with our brands by the end of the year.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like where I was kind of pushing towards, is that I'm kind of like I'm not taking my own advice, right? My own advice is always like, be as specific as possible and measurable. And you did that. I'm like, check, check, check. But it's like also like, what is it that, because I know that you want that, right? So like, it's like the thought leader, or the one that people come to, like flocks, like Jessica said, I want to be in 5 years. No, it was you, right? I'm like, okay, who was it? Jessica, you were saying like, I want to be the one that is at the forefront of this. It's like, well, you do too, Karen. So the more that you, maybe one of the goals is this PR piece, right? The branding, the thought leadership, the partnerships, making sure that you're kind of everybody is vernacular, right? So that might just be one of those sub goals that you need to work on too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going to be a partner with Whole Foods and Whole Planet at Expo West in March.
Good.
One of the reasons why many people haven't heard from me, I've just been heads down.
Heads down, March,
that's part
coming
of it.
up.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next. I know everybody wants to share, and we will be sharing as we go forward. So now comes the really meat and potatoes of it. So we're gonna go through the top 10 goals, and how I do this is we'll introduce the top 10. You're gonna work on the squares that you have in the workshop, in the workbook, and I'll check in maybe every like 7-8 minutes, and we'll do an example for somebody. If it's distracting to you, turn it off. But if it's like, oh, I need to hear somebody else's thought process, listen to it. And we're just going to go through it for about 45 minutes. We go through this. So the top 10 goals of the next 12 months is top goals for the next year. You want to focus on your business. What is the focus of the business? Where are you going? Where do you want to be? Always thinking about that 5-year goal. How do I get to that 5-year goal? Are the things that I'm writing down right now get me to that 5-year goal, and is it going to get me to that overarching 1-year goal that I want to have? You can sprinkle some personal goals in there. That's why I gave you like 10 plus like 2 more if it's personal, if you want to, that's okay. Or you want to do 9, that is business, and 10. It's not that 10 is a magical number. It's just easy on my hands. I'm like, it's 10, right? Again, support your 5-year goal. Thrive in being a fantastic founder. So as I know, a lot of you are seeking investment, but what is that? You want to gain more founder market fit. So what is it that you understand about the market? Are you really a thought leader in the market? You understand that there's some drivers that only you know, and some of it is also service-based businesses. What do you know that is your competitive advantage that nobody else knows? Or that you know some of these partners? I think Karen McKenna, I would say McKenna. Karen, you have that really well, is that you know these partners that are not talking to each other, but you are making them talk to each other, and you are like the hub of everybody working together, and nobody can kind of recreate that. So that's something to kind of just consistently be thinking about. How do I gain more founder market fit? And then strive for alignment of value, right? Is gain more product market fit. Is that value that you bring to your customer? How do you gain more of that product market fit of saying, I'm going to successfully have my company, my product, my app, whatever, be more sticky to my customer? And that product market fit of saying, okay, if it's not sticky, what is it? Do I need to tweak a little bit of the product? Do I need to sell it in a different way? Do I need to have incentivization, all of those things? And then be specific, but must be smart. And I think I have another, yeah, here. And then, so, and I'll go into the PDF in just a second, but you can go through all of the goals and kind of write out all your goals. And then you can go back and do action and resources, or you do each goal, action, your goal, action, and resources. So the action piece of every one of those squares, I'll go back to the PDF in just a second, is what's first, second, and third, and how do you make this happen, right? So the goal is specific, it's smart, and all of that. And then what are the action steps that you need to do? Like, okay, in 3 months, I need to get this done. This month, I have to do this. What are the dependencies and all of that? And then the resources at the very bottom of that square is, do you need anything to make this happen? Again, everybody needs money, right? But what is it? Maybe it's somebody who's an intern. Maybe it's a partnership with an accelerator that you need, or you need a mentor in this section because you are really tactical. You can get it all done, but you need a mentor to bring you up strategically or introduce you to the right people. So write that down in the resources section. I am now going to go back to the other, I can never find anything here. Of course, I have too many tabs open. Can you see this, the PDF? Yes, okay, good. So this is what I was meaning about the squares. And again, if you can't print this out or do it on digitally, it's really a piece of paper. You just put it into 4s. You have goal number 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, as I was saying, is that you can go into each goal, write them out, and then go back and do the action items and then the resources, or you do each box individually, right? Goal number 1, the action items that I do, that I need to do, and the resources that I need. I'm going to give you a sneak peek to what's next because you see it on the worksheet. You do all of these goals, right? And then you're going to calendar them in the next, like, we're going to do this for 45 minutes. I'm going to have you guys calendar. So don't worry about calendaring. Everybody's like, I need to put in my calendar now. No. Let's like have the organization of the goals and the action. And then we're going to put those into the calendar view, and you'll be continuing that for homework. So a lot of people want to do that. So that's why I always say it up front. So yeah, so we're right here, page like 4 of the worksheet. So I'll stop sharing right now because you have all of that, and I'll see your lovely faces, and I'll put on some music for about 10 minutes and check back with you guys. Any questions so far?
Yeah, can you put the slide up where you talked about founder
Yeah,
market
I
fit
can,
and product
no
market
problem.
fit?
Yeah,
I was writing
yeah.
that down because that was really helpful.
Yeah, no problem. That sounds good. I can do that. Super easy. Let me go back here. Oh, wait, no, go back here. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, let's break you guys can keep on going, but I wanted to see how everybody's doing so far. Oh, good. Thanks, Olga. I like that. Anybody want to share a little bit about maybe one goal and as an example for people?
My first goal is to complete all the experimental data on the compounds that I'm working by March.
Okay, so the compounds that you're working on right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and is that realistic by March? That's the end of, like, it's in a less than 2 months.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be like whatever. I'm just trying to say, okay, realistic, yes, 2 months. And
Yeah.
what does all mean? All data?
The preliminary data, the data that I'm working on, like on the compounds, like Western blot on triple
Okay.
negative breast cancer cell lines.
Okay, so you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
The cell lines, all of that, and
Yeah.
that data, does that get put into, so that was like more of like clarity on what that looks like and making sure that you understand that. How
Yes.
does
Yeah.
that play into your 1-year goal? Like, so you have that, will it get you closer? Yes,
Yeah.
probably. What is the piece of what you're going to get done by the end of February fit into the larger goal?
Yeah. So we got an initial signal of a molecular glue that is degrading a RAF1, which is one of the major target in cancer, especially triple negative breast cancer, worldwide suffering. So that we got some kind of a signal that we can degrade that particular target, particular protein. And we got one lead compound right now. So by the end of March, middle of the March, we are going to get all the 38 compounds data so that we can proceed further for um, uh, all the experimental data by the mid of March.
Okay. And then will you be able to take that and write a paper that will allow you to get an SBIR grant to get to your funding?
Yeah, my second goal is actually I was invited for SBIR grant to write the full proposal in the month of January. So I've completed writing all the 15-page grant proposal. My second goal is to get approval and also get funding of 275K of phase one by another 3 to 4 months.
Okay. So, yeah, so I'm just trying to see how do that all mashes together so that you're not just doing click, 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 click. You're doing one click and that goes into this other piece, or do we need to like do it out to Q2, all of that? So, okay, perfect. You feel good about that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I wanted to, I'll be quiet in one more minute, but, this is something just to, Nataraj was kind of talking more about SBIR that is non-dilutive funding. So anything that people can do for non-dilutive funding is awesome. That is a little bit out of your control of trying to figure out when that comes in, but you can kind of get out your goals that way. I wanted to just kind of do a little blip on if you're focused on sales, consider the funnel of sales. Basically, the sales funnel is tried and true awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, and advocacy. So as you're building out your goals, where are you at in your sales process for each of the revenue streams that you have? As an example, you have one partner that you're trying to go after, right? And there's no awareness of you being around at all to that one partner that you really want to get by the end of the year. So the first piece of a goal the whole goal could be, I want to obtain this one customer. And the action items is to build awareness by whatever they're looking at. Let's say they're looking at YouTube, or they're looking at you being at a conference, whatever that is. Okay, the awareness. And then number two is the next action item is consideration. Do I have, like, say, a invoice ready for them? Do I have a one pager? Do I have a deck because they like decks more than one pagers, whatever that looks like? And then you're walking through this funnel to make sure that you're going after the marketing piece. How do I get the word out? You have some sort of marketing mix of awareness and consideration. Then it's like, okay, what is my dance with the potential clients, right? Is that business development piece? Where are you at in that? So, and then the sales is, how do I close a deal? Do I need some help there? Maybe that's the resource area of that goal. Or action items are, how much money do I bring in for that sale? Am I bringing in enough? Do I need, twice as many clients? And what is my client mix that allows me to have the right revenue mix that I need to actually thrive in my business, from where you are now, we're surviving, to thriving. And it might just be a click up of one or two clients. Okay, well, what does that look like? Okay, look back on awareness. So all of this really like clicks into place. And I just wanted to give you this as you're considering building out some more goals. If you have not built a goal of sales or revenue or financing, this is a good time to just kind of pause and do that in the next 10 minutes of us working together. And if anybody has any questions, you can speak up. I'm just going to start playing the music and be quiet for a little bit. Okay. Let me get out of here and stop sharing. Let's hear from a couple of you about where you're at with your goals. How's it going?
Yeah, for me, I would like to be one of the keynote speaker in any of the major conference on developing molecular glues for triple negative breast cancer.
Nataraj, you're just like, I'm gonna be the one that people come to. I love it. I love your boldness. I love it. And that's like part of it. It's like that's one of them. And connecting with the conferences might be a really great action item of like, making sure that you're on their radar. Maybe have a Zoom call with a conference like person who's managing the event. Sometimes event people are easier to get to than just like the higher level ones. So come in the back door. It's all good.
Yeah, I was invited actually. I was invited for one of the major conference in New Jersey for presenting, but I'm bit hesitant because I don't have a complete experimental data to present there. So that's the reason why I just on hold, but I was invited for that.
Well, you just take it and you go with it, right? And you're
Okay.
like, yes, I can. And it might
Okay.
not be all the data Nataraj too, is saying, look, this is the data set we have, boom, boom, boom,
Okay.
boom, boom. And what we've
Okay.
learned is this is where we're at. And
Okay.
we have applied for an SBIR. Does everybody know what that means?
Yeah.
It's not just research, it's actually doing a startup, right? So you
Yeah.
can really weave in your journey and also data. So as scientists, I'm a scientist, everybody knows that, PhD biochemistry.
Yeah.
The transition from scientist to startup founder is hard, right? So you can do half and work with that. And that's a beautiful keynote. That's not a panel. That's
Yeah.
definitely a keynote.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to share?
I will. So
Yeah.
I put at first my number one was gain heavy adoption of users, but then I kind of changed it and I put mentorship, because I think a lot of these things are important. Like I did the SDAC. I know you guys have like the Brink, but just kind of continuing to make sure that you have like those advisors and people to go to. I want to focus on brand building and then also listening to our customers so we can continue to have the product be really good.
And brand building, can we get some clarity on that? Like, what does that look like? What's the goal specifically?
Well, definitely brand building for Flock, but I think like you said, with me, if there's those things that I want to do down the road, I think it's important that I not just stay behind the scenes, and I got to focus on kind of doing both, like brand building for that, but also myself.
Perfect. And then I would say that, where would you want to be? Like the action items could be I want to research where are the things that I can be that thought leader. And another action item would be like, book one of those. Number 3 would be, getting connected to larger conferences or whatever that looks like. And then maybe another thing is like, have, post weekly on LinkedIn about my own journey instead of just Flock is doing these as this, be very specific to building that like communication. And maybe LinkedIn is your platform of choice. I chose a couple of years ago, about almost 7-8 years ago, LinkedIn is my platform of choice. I could not handle Twitter. Like it was like, it like caused me anxiety. So I'm like, I can't really do that. But what's super easy is LinkedIn. I'm just going to focus on that. And it served me really well. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to post every day. Right. And making sure that I have like 5 themes that I write about. So I'm not like freaking out about like, oh my gosh, I have to do these things and it's all tied to XYZ, ABC, because I'm all over the place. What are the 5 themes that I'm consistently talking about? So that when somebody says, oh, she is a good speaker for, you've heard it from me over the years of like the 5 things that I kind of speak about. I can give you some details, right? If I have a speaker reel or if I have a speaker page, which that would be like creating your own page. But like, what is it that you can do really, really easy on a weekly, monthly basis? And that kind of, that structure is something that you're just like, oh, this comes super easy to me. And maybe it's Instagram. I don't know, whatever you want to do, whatever is easiest.
Yeah, that's good
Cool.
tips. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let's hear from one more person before we move on to calendaring. Olga?
I can
Like,
share one. I can
I
share
love it. No,
one
no,
of
no,
them.
go.
So I have many goals. Like this is like a full page of things. So then
That's
one of
good.
the
Let's pick one. Let's pick one.
one of the main goals that I have for this quarter is to create 5 programs that integrates neuroscience. That is something that I call neuroagility. So neuroscience of change, reinvention, and coaching all together. So
I love that.
these are the programs. What I need is to design it for leadership because that's what my current audience is and how that's going to be helping them. So I need to kind of like revamp what I already have. And for that, I need to dedicate focus time every week. I've been doing it very scattered. So then this is kind of my action item. And in my resources is to brainstorm with other coaches and with some of my clients to see how that resonates before I launch them and test them.
Yeah, I love that. I've when like writing books and stuff like that, some of us authors just get on a weekly call to just be on a call for like an hour to write. Right. So if you have like, I love that you said, oh, I have some colleagues that I can bounce ideas off of. Maybe it's just a weekly meeting for like 6 weeks saying, look, you're working on programs, I'm working on programs, but we never like carve any time out. We have to do it. Or I'm going to carve out the time. I know I'm really good at like organizing myself and I just need a 30-minute touch point with this person, just like to bounce ideas off of. So know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are. I mean, you're a leadership coach, you got it, right? But it's hard to do. It's like the cobbler's, kids have the worst shoes, kind of thing. So know that like understand that like that's your strengths and weaknesses. I'm like the first person to say these are all my strengths and these are all my weaknesses. And I lean into the strengths and I lean into other people for my weaknesses. And I know one of the things is I need to just get on a call with somebody that I'm working with every week just to get kind of the bigger picture done. So you could do something like that, and that would be like an action item to leave and do homework for is I need to, talk to these people to get that calendared. So
Thank you, Sylvia.
yeah, no problem. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go on our next. I'm trying to go fast so that we can get through everything. And of course, homework is that you can kind of take those goals, amplify them, take those goals, build more action items. And we're going to actually build more action items now in the calendaring aspect of the next piece together. Let me just pull up the PDF really quick. Boom, boom. Done. Here you go. Okay, so you have all of these goals, you've built them out. Again, if you've only did 2 goals because you really were like thinking about it and you needed the space, you haven't had the space to actually sit and think in it, that's okay, right? We do what we can as entrepreneurs. For homework, then you can, kind of continue this goal. we're at the SBDC, we can actually support you in building out more goals. If you have an advisor saying, look, I went through this workshop, can you help me through thinking about these goals, would be fantastic. So we're here to support you. The yearly calendar of goals is the next piece. So you'll see that this is in a like kind of a squares. This is Q1 each, and Q2, Q3, Q4. We've already, January was a whole year, people's. It felt like it was just way too much, right? But you're going to be in this second square here in February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we're just going to keep it like that. Think about January as like it's already done. But if you need to fill out that saying, I've actually accomplished those things because you want to give yourself some gold stars, go right ahead. I love it whenever I can do that. I'm like, yes, I did this, right? So let's focus on February. And each month you're going to take those action items that you have for your goals and place them into this calendar. Now, an easy way to do it is, let's say I have a goal in 6 months. Karen, can you give me your conference is in what month? March, right?
Yeah, it's March. Well, the event's March 12th.
Ooh, okay. So March 12th is her conference, right? So if we would have been talking in December, I would have said, okay, this is your month of that conference. What do you need to do the month before to get you ready? Like, okay, I need to have my booth set up and actually all the booth material in my home so that I can take it to Expo West. In January, I need to be able to design things or revamp whatever I have designed and send it to the printers. I know that's like simple kind of chunking out. And then in December, it's more of like, okay, the relationships that I can build to get me to that. And within that kind of same time frame of January, February, March, I'm building out relationships, and every week I need to reach out to 5 more people I know that are going to that conference. Some conferences give you a list of everybody in there. That would be fantastic. It's very rare, but they do. Other ones are like, oh, who's posting about Expo West? Oh, interesting. Oh, I'm going too. So every week you can peg yourself to say, every week I need to find 2, 3, 4, whatever you can feel like it's attainable, people that are going to that conference somehow, some way, so that when you land at the conference in 3 months, you are set to go. You have meetings set up. You have people that you've been bookending, right? On LinkedIn, you've bookended their relationships, and then you can continue them at the conference. And then the month after, then you put in an action item for that month saying, follow up with all conference people, right? So, I mean, that's like a simple thing, but that's how you can chunk backwards from a milestone that you have as a conference, go backwards. Or saying, this is my revenue goal by the end of the year, which is 200,000. And every single month I need to get to at least 10K in revenue to get to, I don't think that actually calculates out, but whatever you need to do on a monthly basis to get to that yearly goal, you can actually chunk it out all year round so that you have something that at the end of the month, you can say, did I accomplish it? Did I not accomplish it? Why or why not? And don't beat yourself up. The next month, you're going to tweak, saying this worked, this did not. I'm going to amplify what worked, and I'm going to just take out the stuff that didn't. Don't cry about it. Don't do anything about it. Just say, this did not work. What can I do better? How can I innovate? How can I change? Meet with an advisor, find out what other things that other strategies that you can use. So that's what this whole calendar is about, is just setting some action items throughout the year and making sure that you're kind of chunking it backwards, chunking it forward, setting milestones. And the last thing I wanted to say before I be quiet for a little bit is that if you're finding that you're putting everything in February, March, and you're like, I'm writing so small, I can't even fill it out. What can you move to Q2, right? Yes, it's not that you're a failure, that you can't do it right now. It's okay. You are going to mindfully and strategically say, I'm going to actually focus that piece of my company in Q2, similar to like Karen, is that she's going to go off to a conference. I mean, can she do everything? She does. I mean, she's pretty amazing. And then the first 3 months, maybe not, right? Can I move something that's not dependable on the conference that I can move out? Maybe it's a conference that you're going to go to in like 6 months. Then you can kind of pull out something that's specific to that conference later on. So think about, if I'm kind of getting overwhelmed right now as I'm writing everything out, how do I chunk it into different sets of the year that make sense to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's super helpful, by the way, Sylvia, because I'm super overwhelmed. And so-
Yeah, and
then
then like
then I beat myself up, right? Because I don't
yeah,
get everything
don't,
done.
because you're like,
Mhm.
right now it's conference season. You want to make sure that strategically you are going to leverage that conference to the nth degree. Instead of saying, where am I? Oh my gosh, like I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just overwhelmed. It's like, no, right now I'm strategically super focused on that conference. And then in Q2, I'm going to focus on other things that I've had to put on hold. And that's okay. It's not being yourself that is on hold. It's like you're being strategic and really making sure that you are really honoring where you are right now. Honoring Q2, you have a little bit more time. You're going to focus on these other things. Or like with Olga, right? You're building out like infrastructure. You're saying, hey, I'm going to have these programs that I'm going to work for the next 2 months on, right? Are you going to do programs and heavy sales at the same time? Might not be so great, right? You might be doing light sales, but you're like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of light sales so I can kind of continue. But in Q2, I'm going to hit it hard with sales because I have the foundation of my programs set. So you're not like having anxiety going, my programs are not set and I have to do sales and all this stuff. You can really focus on certain parameters of the year that make sense to you. A lot of people who are like in CPG, they're like, their Q4 is crazy town, right? They need to be able to be on track to sell everything during the holiday season, period, right? They can't be doing like development of products during that time. They just have to sell the products. So Q2, Q3 is like, do we have the products set up in time so that we're ready to deliver, right? So you know your ebbs and flows of your business and you can really like map it out for the year, how that goes. Okay. So we'll probably spend another like 10-ish minutes on this and report back. Okay. Let's hear from a couple of you about the calendaring. How's it going? Mataraj, I know that you want to get that stuff done by the end of March. What about the SBIR? You handed it in, well, they asked you to hand it in, asked you to resubmit in January, right? So when is that deadline?
Deadline is I was given 1 year. So,
Okay.
but I've completed the writing part for 15 pages writing part. Only thing is, I would like to speak with the Brink advisor, Martin.
Yeah, he's good. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. So I would like to speak with Martin for reviewing the grant application. Then after that, by the end of next month, there are series workshops are going on with Brink. So I
Yeah.
would like to hear all the series to see that, where actually my application, regarding the format and the other process of NSF funding. So once that is
Okay.
done, I'll immediately submit in Q2. And my Q3 is I want to start a happy hour with my team.
A happy what?
Happy hour. I would like to start a happy hour, doing a happy hour with my team in Q3.
I love that. That's so good. That's gonna be fun. They're gonna be like, I want to work at this company. That's so good. That's good, Nataraj. That's awesome. I love that. And getting together also is really a good way to kind of, bring synergy together and stuff like that. So that's good. That's good. What about CROs? Do you need to be connected with CROs? Do you need like those like partnerships to set up, let's say, by March, April, so that you're good by the end of the year?
Actually, I've signed a contract with the CROs in India with the major, very big major institutions, two institutions. One is Central University of Hyderabad is one, and also Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology is another institution where actually I signed the contract with the two for doing experimental studies, for two of the major targets in cancer. In triple negative breast cancer. So I've done that part, and also I'm on contacts with one of the major company in China. Wuji is one of the major company. So that was also I'm in contact with them. So many people are contacting me regarding the contract research, but only thing is I need to get the NSF grant, one thing, and also get some more funding from the investor side. So I'm just waiting because I got a lead compound as of now, but I want to reconfirm before I say to the world that, I'm the first person, Ligron Bio is the first company to develop a molecular glue for RAF1 out of box from all the companies worldwide using our platform. So that's what I want to put a post in the LinkedIn. That's where, I prepared that. I just want to reconfirm that. Yeah.
Okay, and then you applied to SDAC?
Yes, yeah, I applied for SDAC. Yeah.
Okay, so I would also in your calendar view put SDAC as the dates that you have, so that you can really think about, how do I build a relationship? So every single month you're tagging yourself, like saying, okay, at the end of every month, have I really connected with, let's say, 5 new investors? I think that's pretty reasonable, because you need to get an introduction and then you need to meet with them. So 5 new investors per month, so that by the end of the year, it's 5 times 10-ish is what? 50. 50 investors by the end of the year. That doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're just keeping on, that would be helpful for you. Okay. Perfect. Anybody else wants to share until we go to the last bit that we're going to work through? Everybody's good on their calendaring? Okay, sounds good. Let me go back. The last thing we're doing that is not super hard, but it just takes about like one song worth of I was like, oh, one song we're gonna do this. And it's something that a lot of people don't do, and it just allows entrepreneurs to just chill out and like decrease anxiety, is weekly tasks. So this is something that you can use to really understand what are these tasks that I'm doing on a regular basis. Like we just talked about Nataraj, making sure that he's by the every single month you are meeting with an investor. So whatever you do on week 1, 2, 3, and 4 on every single month, see if you can do some sort of like cadence of this, right? So like for me, all of my invoicing typically is for all of my clients that I need to invoice them is week 1, right? So I know that I invoice everything and I'm set so that I'm going to get paid. I don't have to worry about getting paid. It's all invoiced week 1. The other thing is to set my kind of overall calendar for social media, right? Not that I'm calendaring everything, but just like week 1, I do that. I don't have to worry about anything else. When I was doing like more like accountability sessions, I'm going back to like Olga, your stuff is like typically like week 3, I felt like a lot of people were able to meet with me as a leadership coach or like as an accountability partner, because week 1, they're freaking out, right? You just have to be there and like answering texts. And then week 2, it's like they're okay, but they're kind of reaching back out to their customers. Then week 3 is like, oh, I can actually work on myself. So they meet with you. And then week 4 is like accounting stuff. So week 4 for me is all accounting. I want to make sure that I'm looking at all of my accounts and making sure that everything is in its place. And if I need to tweak anything, I can. So there's like a cadence to my monthly doings that allow me to get my goals accomplished, right? It's not like per goal, I'm going to do these things. But if you're working on a specific goal, like you, Olga, with your program, I'm sorry that I'm picking on you, but it's just more of like an example. You're working on a project. You're like, okay, Q1, I'm going to focus on programs, and Q2 is about sales, let's say, right? So program, I'm going to say, okay, and usually I'm week 1, I'm kind of freaky, but week 2, typically I'm open. I can be more like my posture can be a little bit more open to work on projects. So you can say in week 2 of every month, I can work my task number 1 is any project work. So I can be like at ease that I'm actually getting everything done with this cadence that I have per month. So I think I'm going to stop talking right now. Hopefully everybody understands that. And I'll do one song, write these things out of just anything that you can put automated or in cadence. Okay. How's everybody doing? We're at 9 minutes till the end, so I just wanted to see how you fared on this weekly piece of it. Can somebody share one of their ahas on that one?
I can share.
Thank you.
This is hard.
It is hard. I mean, it seems easy. You're like, what? Wait a minute. But it really helps.
But it's really like it just when I was looking at this and says, okay, so if I want to do this in February, how am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing in these weeks? And then how this is repeatable for the rest of the stuff that I want to do the rest of the cues. So I found that it was great for me just to say, okay, so if there's something that I have been pushing away because I don't like it, so I was back into what is it that I don't like?
Yeah.
I said, okay, so
Yeah,
what
State
is
of the
it the
Union.
small
I know,
little
yeah.
things? What is the small thing that I can do every week so I can start getting more comfortable with it? And I just realized that, you know what, if I just dedicate 1 hour to do these blogs and videos that I just find that is too much consuming, this is something I can do every single week. I can
Yep.
create a workshop that is every month on the third week. So it just creates some cadence for me to produce more content. So that will help my marketing. So then that was my thought. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Too
no,
many
that's
words,
great.
Sylvia.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what you can use that kind of like monthly look per month, but it's more like you just use it exactly how it was be done. It's like, what is it that I can create some structures around each week that I know that I can plug in these goals that I have that say, okay, it's going to be really easy for me to just understand, like, hey, I'm going to tackle that in week 3. I don't have to worry about it. I know I'm going to do it right in week 3 of every month, and I'm going to get that done. I love that. And also like the video, just as specifically to you, is that if you're creating a program, you can do it a couple of different ways. One is like, okay, the program is going to have like 5 modules, let's say, but there's always going to be extra modules. You can actually create it on whatever platform you're doing it, having like a library of all of these weekly things that you have. So your clients, even though they can see it on social media, everything is in one place. You want to keep them on the same platform. So that library is super cool. And then you can build out those 5 modules, or you have these things that you're like, I just need to get contact out and say, okay, after 10 of these weeks, I actually have the entire program, right? I don't have to really worry about it. So whatever that's how like I wrote my book, right? Is that, I basically just said, I already have all this content. I'm just going to put it together. Oh, and I'm missing these sections. So might as well write them every week for these 3 sections that I'm missing in my book. That's 3 weeks done. I have that stuff done and it's published and people love the value. Awesome. And then, and that's how I'm going to build, I'm building like my version 2 of my book is that, oh, there was 2 sections that's due diligence is one of them. I'm actually writing about due diligence in my newsletter so that I can just take that and say, okay, this is version 2 of my book, boom, right here, right? So you can really, if you're kind of structuring it, you're like, aha, I can build something that's super easy for me to accomplish.
Yeah.
So well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
Okay, so lastly, I just wanted to end with just an overarching just inspiration. So the characters of great goals, we've talked about more like the specificity, the realism, and all of that. But really, you want to seek to be abundant with a dose of reality, right? We've said, okay, we want to go towards that 5-year goal, but realistically, can I do it? Yes or no? Oh, do I need to just add some like structure to get it done? Oh, that's all I need to do. Great. Do I need to set some accountability? Yes, I do. Or my strength is this. Let me lean into that. Know my weaknesses, bring in a resource for me to be able to think more abundantly. Abundance is one of my hardest things to kind of go after, even though it feels like I'm always talking about it, because I really get toppled in that reality piece. And secondly is reach, bless, and sustain great customers. We've kind of talked about that here a little bit. It's like, how do you make them more sticky? How do you make even Nataraj for you? It's like, how do you make your CROs more stickier, or your investors loving you? How do you do that? So goals of a business should expand or deepen your value proposition, right? So really cool that you built out those goals as I was hearing you saying, okay, let's build some more value around that, and bless your customers so that they feel valued and supported. As you're, having programs that you're developing, Olga, are you blessing them? Are you really supporting them? Awesome. They're going to come back to you over and over again. And then this whole thing is just gaining clarity, right? You know it all in your head. You guys are awesome founders, right? It's just a little bit of clarity of saying, hey, how can I prioritize certain times and seasons of the year, knowing I'm busy here and I'm not busy here, or I have a conference that I need to work on and kill it, right? How do I chunk it out before the conference so that I can really be as effective as possible. And then, clarity around some automation or scheduling of increased productivity. We didn't go into like major automation and project management. It's more of that strategic view as a founder to have some sort of goalposts in place so that you have that clarity saying, I got it. And I know that what it's in my head is on paper at least. So hopefully this is the end. Hopefully this was beneficial for you. And of course, like the Brink is always here to support you. There's, San Diego Angel Conference that is in full swing right now, and you'll have advisors at the Brink. If you do not have an advisor, Stephen is here. Send us an email to make sure that you do get an advisor right away, and we're here to support you. So that's all I have. Thank you for coming today. I want to give you 2 minutes to get to your next meeting. But any questions or comments as we head on out?
Thank you, Sylvia. This was my first time joining you guys. Amazing content, and it was a great
good.
workshop. So thank you so much for sharing with us all your knowledge and like the enthusiasm and energy.
Oh, no problem. That's what I love doing. So
Hey, just real
wonderful.
quickly, Stephen, are you going to send out kind of a video of this or no?
Yes,
Okay,
it,
great.
Recording of
Thanks.
this is going to be sent out to everybody who registered, not
Okay.
just people who attended, but actually even if you just signed up for the classes.
Okay.
That's the same for all of our training events. If you sign up for an
Okay.
event and it's recorded, you'll get a recording.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Well done, everybody. Thanks for coming. Nataraj, always a pleasure. Jessica,
Thank you very
always
much.
nice to see you, as always, and see you around town.